porch light never flickered. Even when I disappeared, she'd leave the door unlocked at night, like faith lived without fear.
I missed 100 birthdays, showed up soaked in cheap excuse. Still she held my hand like treasure, like her love was bulletproof.
I told her not to count on me, that I just let her down.
She smiled like she'd heard that line in every song in town. And I don't know what kept her when the storms were loud and long, but somehow she stood steady like a lighthouse hums a song. She waited through the weather when I was raining rust through all my torn up pages. She never lost her trust. She could have walked to brighter skies, but stayed through every tether. I never asked for that kind of love, but she waited through the weather.
I came home with nothing left but regret and worn out boots. She said love don't count the miles, it only measures roots.
She cooked my favorite supper like no years had passed at all. And when I cried into my coffee, she just smiled and let it fall.
She said you don't need redemption, just someone who believes. I never needed perfect, just a place for you to breathe.
She waited through the weather while I chased a dying flame. And when the winds would scatter me, she never changed her name. I gave her every reason to leave the past untethered, but she rode home in every storm. She waited through the weather.
I asked her once why she stayed. She said, because you're mine.
She waited through the weather, not for who I said I'd be, but for the man she always saw inside the wreck of me. Now I fold her kindness nightly,
Like a prayer wrapped in a feather, and thank the sky I wasn't lost.
she waited through the weather.
The house was never noisy, but it never felt like peace. Just the hum of empty moments and the weight that doesn't cease. I didn't know I'd build a cage out of calendars and clocks, till you walked in with your sunrise and undid every lock. You never fixed me loud, you just sat there with your tea, and somehow all that silence stopped screaming back at me. You didn't bring the lightning, you just opened up the blinds, and I saw the world was turning even when I stayed behind.
You got me through the quiet when the world forgot my name, held my hand like I was something more than just my quiet shame. You never tried rescue. You just stayed and stayed and stayed. And love like that don't shout, it whispers loud enough to say. I still leave the porch light burning, even though you're far from here. Not because I think you're coming, just to thank you for those years. Sometimes love ain't till forever, but it lasts through every fall. And the way you helped me breathe again was the truest gift of all. You didn't promise always, you just promised not to run. And that was more than I had ever heard from anyone. You got me through the quiet, through the long and broken days, pulled me out of my own shadow with a laugh that lit my way. You never tried to save me, you just stood and let me grow. And I still sing your kindness everywhere I go. And I hope someone makes you feel the way you made me. You got me through the quiet, now I walk a louder road. But I carry all your stillness everywhere I go. I saw her in a photograph, taped behind a diner seat, smiling like she owned the world and never knew defeat. She used to work the corner booth, pouring coffee, dreams, and cream. I was young and chasing thunder, too proud to ever dream. She'd sing along to Springsteen with a voice too soft to stay, and I'd pretend I didn't notice while my chance slipped away. She called me cowboy once or twice, though I never had the boots, just a heart afraid of quiet and a suitcase full of truth. Back then I didn't know her name, just her laugh and how she moved. I thought love was for the settled, not for boys who still had grooves. Now the jukebox plays reminders of the time I can't reclaim. She gave me light in passing, but I never knew her name. Left that job in '83, said the town was far too still. I heard she made it out to Denver, married some man on a hill. I stayed behind with habits like the chair she always used, and wondered if she ever thought of the boy who never moved. I tried to write a letter, but I never had her last. So I fold it in a whisper and sing it to the past. Back then I didn't know her name, just the hum of her goodbye. I was too in love with leaving to let her even try. Now my hands are full of nothing but this old cafe in flame. She
walked through like an angel, and I never knew her name. Now the corner booth feels colder, though the sun still hits the same. I still sip the cup she poured me back when I didn't know her name.
You never said goodbye, not really. Just a note with half a name and a postcard from Sedona. No return, no blame. She left her keys on the table next to mine and a broken watch. Said time don't wait on cowards, and I was late by just that much. I found a matchbook from Nevada, folded neatly in my coat, and a lipstick trace on paper that said don't call, just let me float. She was always 10 steps ahead, in boots I never chased, and I wore my silence proudly, like a love I couldn't face. She only wrote me Arizona, never said the word goodbye, just a fading desert skyline and her name beneath the sky. I tried to read between the cactus and the words she left behind, but the only thing she told me was she was done being mine. I still keep that postcard folded in the pocket of my pride. Every woman since has asked me why I leave love outside. I say it's 'cause I met a thunder that looked like common grace. She burned like dusk in silence and vanished without a trace. I could have followed west that night, but I stayed and cursed the floor. And now I sip on her goodbye like a man who wanted more. She only wrote me Arizona, no return, no sweet explain, just a sky in rust and crimson, and her tears in desert rain. I tried to frame it like a story, but the plot just slipped through time, and the only thing she told me was she was done being mine. She never liked goodbyes, so she never gave me one. Now I drive through town she'd love, with her postcard in my coat,
Still wondering if Arizona was the last thing that she wrote.
I found his coat behind the closet, smelled like wind and kerosene, a little torn around the collar like the stories in between. He wore it to my baseball games and to Mama's second wedding. He never said too many words, but his silence did the telling. We never saw eye to eye, more like a mirror to regret. But I still wore that coat one night just to see what he felt. He was thunder in the hallway, he was whiskey on the chair. He was gone before I noticed he was ever really there. My father's coat still fits me wrong, but I wear it when I need him strong. Through every storm I walk alone, it wraps me in what I've outgrown. We never said the words we meant, we spoke through fences, not through vents. But in this fabric old and broke, I still remember my father's coat. He left before the cancer came, but I read his Bible notes. He marked a page on prodigal and folded prayers and quotes. I found a picture in the pocket of me at age 13, grinning like I knew the world and didn't fear a thing. And we were men made out of silence, built from lessons never said. But that coat was like a letter I forgot I hadn't read. My father's coat still fits me wrong, but I wear it when I need him strong. Through every storm I walk alone, it wraps me in what I've outgrown. We never said the words we meant, we spoke through fences, not through vents. But in this fabric old and broke, I still remember my father's coat. He never said goodbye, but he left me this to try. So I hang it by the doorway, let it catch the morning smoke. And when I miss the man I knew, I wear my father's coat.
I rode back into Canyon Hill, where the silence always speaks. Dust covered up the welcome sign, like a year's between the weeks. The saloon's got one light still burning, no faces that I know, just a barkeep with a Bible and a shotgun down below. He said, "You've got the look of sorrow." I said, "That's just my resting face." But we both knew I was lying, like this town forgot my name. I came to find forgiveness
but I parked beside regret. No graves with flowers waiting, just the debts I still don't get. No one waits in Canyon Hill, no porch light left for me. The house is gone, the fields are dry, and even ghost won't speak. I thought the past could hear me through the wind against the sill, but even echoes know no one waits in Canyon Hill. Her name still haunts the chapel door, carved like it once bled. And I swear I heard her footsteps, though I know she's years dead. I left a note at the altar, just in case she walks back through. But deep down I'm just pretending, like a man without a clue. I lit a match to midnight, hoping fate might show the way. But the only light in Canyon Hill is the fire I threw away. No one waits in Canyon Hill, no porch light left for me. The house is gone, the fields are dry, and even ghosts won't speak. I thought the past could hear me through the wind against the sill, but even echoes know no one waits in Canyon Hill.
He sat alone at Jackson's bar, midnight sharp, same corner booth. Nursing one shot like a sermon, whispered low in honest truth. The barkeep said he don't say much, but he's seen the world go gray. Used to ride with fire in his hands till the fire walked away. He wore a coat too big for summer and boots too soft for war. Carried silence like a weapon, but never walked out that door. Some say he lost a brother, some say he took a life, but no one dared to ask him why his hand still shook at night.
He's the man who sat at midnight where the jukebox wouldn't play, in the town that knew too little and looked the other way. He lit a match for every secret and let the silence burn it right. But he never told a story, the man who sat at midnight.
acting slow, with eyes like a debt unpaid. He said you took what mattered most, now it's time your dues get laid. The bar fell into silence like a church with bated breath, and that old man just sipped his whiskey like he'd been waiting death. He said, son, I don't deny it, but you don't know all I did, and vengeance won't restore her if you can't forgive the kid. He's the man who sat at midnight with 1,000 ghosts in line, carved his sins in broken windows, left his soul beneath the pine. And he stared down every sorrow like a judge with no respite, but he never told his story, the man who sat at midnight. Some truths are built like coffins, some are born to stay inside. Now the booth stays dark and empty, but the seat is still worn thin. Folks say when it hits midnight, you can almost see him grin. He paid the cost in silence with his back turned to the light, and he took it all with him, the man who sat at midnight.
Jukebox never played again.
They say the road forgives a man if he don't ask it where it goes. But I've been driving past my own life like a bar I never chose. Left Georgia in a rainstorm, left 2 kids and half a name. Told myself I'd send a postcard, but the guilt got in the way. Spent some nights in Amarillo, wrote my sins on bathroom walls, played guitar for folks who never even knew my face at all. But a voice inside kept humming every mile like a scar, said you ain't starting over, you're just hiding who you are. A man can only run so far before the road starts running back. Every silence that you borrow piles up behind the tracks. You can chase 1,000 sunsets in a beat-up old guitar, but you can't outrun your shadow. A man can only run so far. Met a woman out in Reno. She could see behind my eyes, didn't ask me about my story, but she knew I lived in lies. She said, you've got hands like heartbreak and a voice like you've been shot. Then she poured me half her mercy, and she kept the other half. I asked her why she stayed with me. She just smiled and lit a star, said we're all just broken comets falling right back where we are. A man can only run so far before he hits the truth he threw. You can lie to all the strangers, but the mirror still sees you. So I'm headed back to Georgia with this busted heart and scar. crossroads, and a man can only run so far. I ain't asking for forgiveness, just a place to plant my boots. Now the road behind me's dusty, but the porch ahead is warm, and I ain't looking back too hard. A man can only run so far.
I wrote a letter in a diner somewhere west of Abilene, on a napkin stained with coffee and a fingerprint of dreams. You were gone 5 years by then, but your ghost still hitched a ride in every jukebox song and silence that I kept locked up inside. I never meant to leave that way, didn't think you'd close the door. I was young and full of thunder, now I'm old and keeping score. And every time I tried to mail it, something held me back again. Like maybe pain's more honest when it's only held in pen. This is the letter I never sent, folded tight in consequence, full of words I couldn't say. On the night I walked away, you deserved a better man than the ghost I always meant. So I wrote you down in silence in the letter I never sent. I watched your daughter dancing in a video online. She's got your laugh, your way with light, and not a trace of mine. I guess you built a better world than I ever thought you could, and I don't blame you for forgetting, I just hoped you never would. And I keep that napkin folded like a relic from the war, between the man I should have been and the one who asked for more. This is the letter I never sent, just ink and cheap lament, but every line still burns like truth, every stain's a piece of youth. If you ever find it drifting like a prayer on accident, just know I loved you quiet in the letter I never sent. And maybe love is realer when it's written, not delivered. So here's to all the might have beens, to mercy, time, and rent, and to you, my never lover, from the letter I never sent.
There's a letter in my glove box that I never meant to send, and a photo in my wallet of a love I couldn't mend. Wasn't cruel, just careless with the way I held your name, like a gambler holds his last chip, thinking luck don't ever change. You packed your life in silence, not a single slam or tear, just the sound of someone knowing they won't be remembered here. and I watched you from the window as you disappeared in dusk. I thought pride would keep me steady. Pride don't bleed like trust. I took the long way losing you. Every mile just proved it true. I tried to turn around too late, but the road kept fading blue. I thought time would do the healing, but it just drew out the view. No shortcuts through regret, my love. I took the long way losing you. I stayed in towns we passed through, tried to live inside the past, made friends with all my ghosts, and drank from empty glass. I held your laugh in headphones like a hymn I never wrote, played it back till it was hollow, like a promise choked by hope. Some men learn by losing, some just circle what they lost. And I drew maps of maybe, but I never paid the cost. I took the long way losing you, with every silence as my cue. I rehearsed 1,000 sorries that you never asked me to. I thought one day you'd be waiting in some town with lighter shoes, but dreams don't park at broken hearts. I took the long way losing you. I didn't mean to choose this ending, but I chose it just the same. Mostly shadows, but I drive it just for truth, and every mile still whispers, I took the long way losing